But I'm really pleased that to join us on Not the Andrew Marr Show, we've got Tony Randerson. Now, if you haven't heard of Tony Randerson yet, you're going to hear a lot more about Tony Randerson, because if you look at this result here, Tony stood as an independent against Labour in Eastfield by-election, and he won a resounding victory, having been the Labour councillor. So he forced the by-election. Tony, could you tell us why you left the Labour Party?
Yeah, of course. It was a sad day for me, to be honest with you. But after 30 plus years within the Labour Party, but it got to the stage where pledge after pledge after pledge that Starmer made in his election campaign for the leadership of the Labour Party is broken. And I was actually on holiday with my family at back end of February, early March, and it was my daughter said to me, "Pops, what's wrong?" And second week I was there, I said, "I'm going to have to leave the Labour Party." I said, "I can't stand what Starmer is doing. Is too dictatorial, getting rid of good socialist councillors, reducing the membership drastically." So I was really left with no option. If I'd have stopped in as a Labour councillor, my way of thinking was I'm condoning what Starmer is doing, and I just couldn't live with myself. So I also determined at the same time, because out of principle, and I have criticised other councillors and MPs for doing it, and there's just no way I was going to cross the floor to another party. So my view at that time was to swan off into the sunset, never to be seen again, you know, as far as council was concerned. So I resigned from the council as well. I've let the good people of Eastfield know my division via social media of my decision to resign. And literally within minutes, I was inundated with requests, real kind messages. "Please stop on, Tony. You know, will you stand in the by-election?" So I changed my mind. I thought, right, I'm going to stand in the by-election. I'm going to give it my all. I went to see a very good comrade of mine, Eric Barnes, at his home, and said, "Look, Eric, I'm going to stand in this by-election. I know you're setting up I know about the Social Justice Party. So I know you're in process of setting that up. I'd like to stand as a social justice candidate." Now, because the registration hasn't gone through with the Electoral Commission, I couldn't put the Social Justice Party emblem on the ballot form, on our application form. So it was left blank. And I think people have misconstrued this. A lot of people are saying, I got interviewed by BBC Radio York yesterday morning, and they talked to me, they said, "Look, you're an independent councillor." I said, "No, I am not an independent councillor. I'm a socialist, and I'm a proud socialist. I'm standing as a socialist, I stood as a socialist candidate, and I am in the Social Justice Party." So that in a nutshell is where we are. You know, it's I couldn't live with Starmer. It was a difficult campaign, if I'm honest with you. It got really nasty. None of it from my end, by the way. None of it from my end. I insisted right at the start of the campaign that we ran a positive campaign. We were going to talk about what I'd done in the past for the electorate in Eastfield, and how we're going to go forward. And we stuck to that rigidly. Unfortunately, I can't say the same of the other candidates and their teams. And, you know, some of the comments, what people seem to forget is because over a 10-year period, I've made a lot of friends in Eastfield, you know, a real lot of friends. So I'm knocking on doors after the Labour candidates being round, you know, and they said, "Tony, what are you saying about you is absolutely diabolical," you know, and these are all comrades of mine, supposedly. So it got a little bit unpleasant, and not just for me, but for my wife and family. because it was, you know, if I get hers, they're hers, and vice versa. So it was probably, well, it was the nastiest campaign I've ever fought, which saddens me when some of that is supposedly good old comrades. So I look forward really to the next 4 years as a social justice councillor. And by the way, I'm the very, very first, which I'm very proud of, to stand and be elected in North Yorkshire as a socialist candidate, as a socialist councillor. So it really gives me a lot of pride, and I look forward to getting in the county hall again. And I'm sure they'll be wishing me well when I arrive there. I'm saying that tongue in cheek, by the way. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
There seem to be so many other people like you out there now who don't feel happy with Starmer. What would you suggest they do?
In that case, it amazes me why people are forced to undertake things within the Labour Party, forced to toe the line all the time. It's time to get out. So if they feel as though they've been pressurised into doing something that they're really not comfortable with, and there's got to be hundreds and hundreds of those activists up and down the country in the Labour Party. They need to get out. I think we need to set up a new party nationwide. It doesn't have to be called the Social Justice Party. It doesn't have to be called all those people countrywide. We need to get together to form a new socialist party to challenge the one-party political scenario that we've got at the moment, because there's little difference between Starmer and Sunak now. It's an absolute nonsense. We really need to force ourselves together to create that new party to challenge that one-party political system that we seem to have at the moment. We can't trust the Lib Dems. I mean, they've just got out of bed with the Tories anyway. We can't trust Starmer. We can't trust Sunak. And it's a sad reflection on democracy in this country, where we've got the best of a bad bunch that are running the country. So, all right, it may take time, but what the Labour Party forget is it was the trade unions that formed the Labour Party, and from little acorns, big trees grew, and we ended up with the Labour Party, warts and all. And I think we've got to go down that process again. Whether that will happen in my lifetime, where we'll get a party that that's really challenging, but we've got to start somewhere, and I think we've got to start now. So all those people that are wavering on the edge, I suggest they get out of the Labour Party and join the socialist movement.